Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
What am I doing? How in the world did it come down to this? Order in this court, as I would say, as I should be calling these videos as I am from now on, the AEW State of the Union Address with the Club of the Man 1993. Because anytime I do a video on AEW anymore, it's basically like a State of the Union. It's like I'm stating, what's the latest? Where do I stand now with AEW, basically? As I once was a huge AEW fan, looked at it as the place to be, the place, my safe haven, a place where I could go and know that I will be entertained, no drama whatsoever. And now it was... I don't even know where to begin with this. I came up here to address why I think what they're doing with Jack Perry and the Young Bucks on screen now is not going to work long term. And how Tony Khan, I think, has just gone completely insane. And he has completely just gone off the deep end, I think, ever since Brawl Out in 2022 and All Out. Whenever the whole scuffle with CM Punk and the Young Bucks and anyone else involved happened. Ever since then, it's just shown that Tony Khan, for the longest time, felt he was immortal, untouchable, felt he had the best thing going, which he did. And then Cody left. And then Vince McMahon left for the first time. Things started to shift towards WWE, and it just looked like from there on out, AEW has just crumbled and hasn't been the same since. They've shown some peaks of being able to get back on track, but then Tony Khan opens his mouth, says something absolutely stupid, and it just falls back once again. So we've been back and forth about that for almost 2 years now with AEW. Well, a year and a half, 2 years will be in like August or September. Why are we here today? What happened now that just made me just go, my gosh, I gotta do another video again. Even though I don't like to talk about AEW because once again, people think AEW needs to fail and I don't want them to fail. I don't want them to fail. I don't get why people root for this company to fail. It's an alternative. It's another option in the wrestling industry, and it could very well be the best damn show if, for crying out loud, Tony Khan didn't focus on what he should be focusing on. And that is outside wrestlers who aren't even there anymore, yet you're using them to draw viewers to your product. So much so that Tony Khan just goes so desperate that he has his own self taking bumps on Dynamite this past week. So, let's just address everything. So, it has been about a month ago. CM Punk was on the MMA Hour podcast, which I briefly did talk about. And Ariel Helwani did ask him some questions about AEW. Punk, wasn't going there looking to answer the questions. But in the shed of the moment, he at least shined some light and gave us some sort of answer to his questions to kind of give us an idea of what all happened at AEW. And how did AEW respond? They decided to take footage from All In last year, show the backstage confrontation between Punk and Jack Perry, which, yes, Punk did shove Perry. Yes, he went for the chokehold, but the whole thing lasted about 5 seconds. And Tony Khan is saying that he had never feared so much for his life before. When all that happened was Punk bumped the desk maybe about twice, adjusted the computer, and just yelled at Tony Khan. He didn't grab him. He didn't do anything. It was literally like a 5-second scuffle with a brief shove in there. That's all it was. And then, of course, that led to Punk getting fired because they just felt that it wasn't working out. Punk won it gone. He flat out said right there, this place is a joke. You're a clown, Tony. Fire me. So, of course, they respond by showing that footage, trying to get heat on the Young Bucks going into their ladder match at Dynasty with FTR. Saying how it was so bad, it ruined our days. And to me, it was just like it felt like I was watching one of my least favorite segments of all time. The segment with Jinder Mahal making fun of Shinsuke Nakamura's facial expressions. I'm just like, that's the best you got? That's the best you got, trying to get heat on them, like having them say, oh my goodness, that little push there was what ruined our days. And I'm just like, you sound like over dramatic idiots. Like now it's like Punk exposed AEW with those questions. So how did he reply back? Basically saying, yeah, we're wimps. Tony Khan's there going, don't worry, everything's great. Everything's great. I'm so excited for All In this year. We're going to have a great show. La la la. Audio's bad. Hope you're enjoying Dynamite. Just saying stupid crap. And then at Dynasty, and I didn't watch Dynasty, although I kind of itch to want to because I want to see Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson being known as probably one of the best matches of the decade and of all time, for what I'm hearing. And also, because Swerve Strickland won the world title. Well earned, congratulations. And then you watch Dynamite this week. And of course, nothing mattered. They didn't even acknowledge Swerve being champion. He just wrestled a random match with Kyle Fletcher, and that was it. Will Ospreay, for some reason, had to wrestle in some sort of like a casino gauntlet match to earn a shot at the international title. Isn't he at this point way above that? And should he be going after the world title? Thank you very much. But no. The only thing people are going to talk about is Jack Perry. Because at Dynasty, the Young Bucks won their match thanks to a returning Jack Perry, and he helped them win the match. I think he pushed FTR off the ladder or something like that, and then he won the match. The scapegoat now he's calling himself, and of course he's going to New Japan, having the Cry Me a River jacket on, and of course flashing Punk's logo as well. Although the crowd is cheering on Perry with the "Oh, cry me a river." A little surprised, but not super important. But anyways, on Dynamite this past week, and when I saw that happen, you see, here's why it bothers me that all of a sudden, now they're using the All In incidents to get heat on a storyline. It's because Punk's not here. Punk is not here anymore in AEW. He's in WWE, so who's going to really benefit from getting their comeuppance on the Elite? Since, again, the person that should be at this story is Punk. But Punk ain't there. This is exactly like 10 years ago or so, whenever we had Stephanie McMahon berating superstars, but yet none of them could touch him, could touch her. So, if no one was going to be able to get their comeuppance, then why are you're getting heat on someone when the person getting heat has no shot at the getting the right comeuppance they should be getting? Like, that's a problem. That makes no sense. And, of course, Tony Khan spending more time firing shots at WWE, which, here's the thing. It's okay to be firing shots at your competition, but to me, there's no story to tell progression, and it feels like that's the only thing that's drawing in ratings is them just firing shots or saying stupid stuff like Tony Khan said at the NFL draft that WWE is another Harvey Weinstein, comparing him to like a super bad, inappropriate person, put it that way. Like, that's what you're going to say? Like it's... But anyways, I'm bouncing around way too much here. So, when that happened, I saw that. I'm like, this isn't going to work. It's not going to work now because Punk is not here. Had Punk been here, this would have been money. But instead, again, we had Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay. Outstanding, possible one of the best matches of all time at Dynasty. And Swerve Strickland won the world title. Those should be the things we should be celebrating and talking about. Instead, though, we had a closing segment after showing that the Elite went into Tony Khan's office with Jack Perry. They said that Tony Khan is going to talk to Jack Perry in the ring at the end of the show. And what happens? It's Jack Perry doing another rah rah, I bleed AEW, like how Adam Copeland did a few weeks ago to respond to Punk, obviously, and it sounded like a 5-year-old kid being a cheerleader. But Tony Khan comes out, and you would think Tony would be a boss, address Jack Perry of the issues, talk it out. Instead, Tony comes out smiling. He's smiling at the guy who provoked the bear, who also, and again, let's put it this way. It's not just the fact that Jack Perry pissed off CM Punk that day. No. It's also the fact that Jack Perry was also back-talking to executives, backstage personnel, that led to Tony Schiavone going to get CM Punk to address Perry on Collision that he should be doing what he's doing. So again, Jack Perry holds a lot of fault in this as well. And of course Tony Khan, because he doesn't have a freaking backbone and won't do anything. Heck, the fact he's even selling this neck injury and, I don't even know what I'm going to do. But anyways, Tony came out and he was smiling and he hugged Jack Perry. I'm like, you said you were going to talk to him. Is it because, AEW's great. Oh, I love you again, Jack. It makes no freaking sense. And then, you could smell it a mile away. From the same look that Jack Perry gave, looking at the camera. His new signature look now, wherever he gets caught, he looks at the camera. He's like, I may have gotten caught, but mission still accomplished. Raises Tony's arm, and then pokes Tony in the belly with his microphone. Tony horribly sold it. It looked like Jack Perry was poking the freaking Pillsbury Doughboy. Like, that's what it looked like. It looked like Jack Perry with a microphone was poking the Pillsbury Doughboy. And then the Elite, the Young Bucks come out, and they hit him with a Meltzer driver. So, Tony Khan has gone that nuts. He's that desperate to get ratings on his show. Of course, whenever he does something like that, he'll go on Twitter and go, well, would you look at that? The ratings increased. Thank you for watching Dynamite. I am so excited for All In this summer. Who just can't, for the life of God, do a media appearance. Like, what was that supposed to set up? If Punk was there, that would be gold. But instead, Punk is not there, so we're gonna get Jack Perry versus Tony Khan. And then again, Tony Khan goes on to the NFL Network for the NFL draft because his father, Shad Khan, owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. And he is wearing the neck brace, again, to sell the injury from Dynamite this past week. And then he makes the comment how WWE is evil or an evil juggernaut or whatnot. AEW is probably like the best thing, like growing company in the first 5 years since the AFL, which, you're comparing that to, a very, not as known organization. But then he says how AEW is like Pepsi and WWE is like the Harvey Weinstein. Like, seriously? Like, he opens... Like, Tony just can't be on camera anymore. Like, every time he's on camera, he just makes a fool out of himself. Saying something completely stupid, hyping up a big announcement or a dream match that's like... That's it. Like, that's whatever it is. Like, I've been saying this for a while. Tony Khan has become so desperate. He has cracked under the pressure. And if I'm being honest, he's proved he's not fit to be a boss. He's a nice guy. I'm never going to take that away from him. He's a nice guy. I appreciate his passion for wrestling. I appreciate that he does care about the fans. But again, right now, it just feels like he's just like swinging for the fences. As some people say, he's playing his own video game on exhibition mode, choosing the biggest names to wrestle each other, having great quality matches on TV, and kicking ass on pay-per-views. But like everything else around it is just flat out garbage. Like, it's starting to feel like he's just taking things, throwing it at the wall, and seeing what sticks. Like, again, I kept saying this. From the moment I saw they were trying to use CM Punk to get heat on the Young Bucks. Then to bring back Jack Perry. Still dwelling on CM Punk with the Cry Me a River and like the Punk symbol on his attire and whatnot. I'm like, this is not going to work. But anymore, AEW relies on the shots fired rather than actually growing their own product without having to promote the other company. He did the same thing at the beginning of the year with Jinder Mahal. He did the same thing there, taking shots at Jinder Mahal and saying that how Samoa Joe and Hook was going to be much better than that. Which, yes, honestly, on paper, that does sound better, but why are you relying again on outside talent to get viewers on your own show? Like, then it's like, why should we give a crap? And that's why in the thumbnail you see for this video, the background with Bryan and Ospreay and Swerve is black and white, because that's like a distant memory, and this is the only thing that matters. This drama that just... I don't know. I keep saying anymore, guys. Like right now, I feel with AEW, I feel the same way I felt when I was trying to have faith that NXT was going to get back on track in 2021. And obviously, what happened there. I don't think Tony Khan would do something like the Karrion Kross and Jeff Hardy match. The match, I always say, was the thing that put the nail in the coffin and made me realize that NXT is not the same anymore. I'm out of here. Tony Khan is just still just like... Again, I said a while ago, he's cracking under the pressure. To me, I think he's completely lost it. He is completely lost it, especially with how he compared WWE, calling him the Harvey Weinstein. Like, how sick can you be? I mean, if Vince McMahon was still around, they were letting him get away with everything still, okay, maybe I can forgive that a little bit, but still, even then, again, I just don't think AEW is going to get any better because they're going to overshadow the big things again, like a Swerve Strickland winning the world title, or like a classic of a match of Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay. Because all it's going to matter is this stupid drama that they could have handled better and that they obviously can't let go of. And again, CM Punk did not go on that interview looking for trouble. He went on that interview just to answer whatever Ariel Wani wanted him to ask him. He mentioned that he doesn't like to talk about it, but he at least told us some things to at least shed some light on the fans, because who else is going to tell him? Not Tony Khan, Mr. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. but I am very excited for All In, and we're going to have a great show on Dynamite tonight. We'll answer questions. Why answer the other questions? Like what? Like the matches tonight, whatnot? It's like, again, this guy cannot be on media. He can't be taking these interviews because he just flat out makes a fool of himself, a fool of the product, and they just can't let go. They can't just move on from All In, from Brawl Out 2022. They just can't move on. They didn't handle it well. They should have never split the rosters. They should have had just all men sit down, talk it out. Because even Kenny Omega said it when I guess he was talking on like a Twitch stream or something like that recently, saying how even he feels he shouldn't be an EVP. And he admits that he thinks things should handle better too. He watched what he said because he still's got his friends, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks, but still, he was a voice of reason. We should have gotten the Elite versus CMFTR, as they call them. But again, of course, they had to poke the bear, and instead of Tony Khan just telling everybody to sit down, act like grown-ups, instead, he had to cower behind his desk and say, "Oh my gosh, my life was in so much danger." Well, was it in so much danger whenever you let Jack Perry poke you like the Pillsbury Doughboy? But that's where I stand with AEW today. Again, I want to still enjoy the show. All the talent that's on there. The Swerve Stricklands, the Samoa Joes, the Will Ospreays, the Bryan Danielsons, Kazuchika Okada's, the Pacs, the Keith Lee whenever he comes back, the Acclaimed, MJF, Adam Cole, Undisputed Kingdom's garbage right now, but maybe once he gets healthy again, whatever that is, maybe things will change. And heck, even the Young Bucks and the Jack Perrys as well, but they gotta move away from the CM Punk drama and focus on storytelling. Fire some shots where you can, but focus on the story and develop these stars that can develop on their own and not with people outside the company. No more CM Punk in AEW. No more Jinder Mahal mentions. No more triple... I don't care. Don't rely on your outside talent to get viewership on your own show. Focus on your roster, Tony. Focus on your toys, which is these very high-class athletes that you have paid lots of money for them to be there. Utilize them well and not just throw them in random matches with no story. Because you have tested my patience. You have definitely lost a lot of viewerships. Again, you can't even fill half of an arena of a 13,000 seat arena as you only sell 2,000 or 3,000 tickets a show. But nope, you say, everything's okay, hope you enjoy Dynamite. Unreal. But that is basically my State of the Union for AEW in 2024. This stuff again with the new Elite having heat because of the past with CM Punk. It's not going to work. But what are your guys' thoughts on this? Leave your guys' thoughts about this rant down in the comments section below. Be sure also, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at the Club of the Man 93. You may also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. I'm pretty sure soon we will be having another rant session. I'm pretty sure Tony Khan is going to say something else stupid like he did on the NFL Network with calling AEW the Pepsi, the Pepsi company, and WWE the Harvey Weinsteins, which is absolutely ridiculous. But I'll check it out, guys. Have a great rest of your night. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man, who has more of a backbone than Tony Khan. And for I am the man himself, and that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!